We have a guest. Welcome. Come on,
How are you?
take a seat.
Please join us.
Come on.
Pull up a glass of
Yeah,
wine.
and grab some cheese while you're at it. We recommend it. Mr. Gallo's provided this from Gallo Family Merlot.
Gallo's is good.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo.
Where's this cheese from, by the way?
My refrigerator.
Okay.
Gotcha. Actually, this is Australian cheddar.
Colby.
And this is Colby. It's kind of a not too bitter, not too strong, and not too light. Kind of a middle of the road. And this is Longhorn style, which my dad and mom working for, let's see, what did my dad work with? McLean's Wholesale Grocers.
Okay.
Mr. Drake McLean, how do you do?
How are you, sir?
My dad loved you, and my mom worked for the Woodliff Employment way back in the day. How do? You sold the Houston Astros. Good job. I guess after not getting the pennants and everything and getting in the World Series, it gets a little old playing the game.
You're better off. It's okay.
Hopefully they'll go
Less
again.
stress. Less stress.
Yes,
That's
de-stress
what this show is all
with
about,
Gallo wines, and you know,
Gallo is good. You know,
Yeah.
Gallo is a really good priced wine.
I like
now,
it,
we do have some other ones like $2.
especially when I'm drinking.
You know, you can get a good wine for $1.99 now. Now, not a great wine, but a wine that is good. But Gallo is kind of somewhere in the middle, so you're not breaking the bank. You're not spending all of your money on a bottle of Gallo. You spend about $5-6 and you can get a really good wine with the Gallo wine. I really like it.
Now, if you're a wine snob, probably
Maybe
you
you
may
don't like
not
it.
want to taste this,
But we're not.
because it's Gallo. Gallo is a good vintner,
But
and he's got a good wine. But if you're looking for premier wines that are, you know, Gallo's come up with good stuff, though. You need to reconsider.
hey,
give it a
maybe
check.
maybe our guests know some good wines
Yeah.
and maybe they
What
want
is
to
it?
leave a
Two
comment.
Buck Chuck. Hey, what do you think about that?
Two
What's
Buck
that?
Chuck is a good. It's Charles.
Where do you
Shaw.
get Charles Shaw? Where do you get Charles Shaw?
You can go to Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
He's a
has
trader
Charles
dude, huh?
Shaw. Anyway, there's many good wines out there, and if you know some good wines, let us know, and
Hey,
we'll definitely.
wait,
have it on the
I've
show.
got one. Hey,
Okay.
Farm and Cheese in let's see, it's in Alameda Park. I think that's the name. Farm and Cheese.
They have some good cheeses there.
Yeah, and I'm a member of their club thing, and
Really?
I buy and I'll go by there, but they have the good and the good and the good are good.
Really?
Not the ultra high end, but that good middle to mid high.
Okay.
So
local
to
people
the low high range.
Check it out.
You know, it's good if you're going into Alameda. Alameda. Yeah, I'm talking too fast here, and I'm thinking of all the good things in Alameda. There's many places. The South Shore, which used to be the town center, and it's right to call it the town center, South Shore. So
they
it
used
works.
to have
Put
a
two names.
store there. Now they don't.
Well, they need to put Barnes and Noble in there. Get to work
How about
out
another
there.
local? Forget the big corporation things. How about a local business?
Make
local
it all the
bookstore?
local bookstores power together and get together.
Now you're
And
talking.
then put a coffee shop in the middle of it,
Please.
and then 4 sections, one section one section another, one section another, one section another, and the upstairs is a blended area of books and public area. I don't know, what do I know? But
Hey,
anyway,
we don't know. We're just sitting here whining,
yes,
eating cheese.
yes.
So thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Because we are not only whining, but we are also dining. So in the future, we are going to be going on to location in Napa Valley. And we are going
Restaurants in the Bay Area.
Yeah, we're going to go everywhere. We're going to wine.
Maybe
and
we'll
dine.
join you at your table.
Please.
Hey, or you
That'd
could
be
join
great.
us at ours. Hey, you know what? The foodie chaps may have it and say, good job, foodie chaps. And all of the ones out there that are doing well in the media, we appreciate you. And if we join you, we'll be happy to sit there, sip your wine, or you can sip our wine.
Hey, everybody, please go to your local business. Support local business. Support
Bookstores,
local wine.
Alameda, San Leandro, Oakland, and
Hey, you know, maybe it would be good for us to go to the upcoming Green Festival. That's
where's
coming
that?
up. I
Well,
think
let's talk about
I
it.
think
The Green Festival, we got short time.
I think the Green Festival is going to be coming up around September or so, around that area. So, and it will be in San Francisco.
Oh,
and
excellent.
they have organic wine. You can get organic wine, a bottle, not a bottle like this.
I'd like to get our gallon of
for
wine.
as cheap as $10.
No, actually, I don't overdrink wine. We don't recommend it. Sip it, enjoy it. Don't imbibe till you're drunk or that you harm yourself or others. Remember, drink responsibly. I'm Walter Bradley.
I'm Greg Fernandez.
And this is Wine and cheese. Well, good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon. Wherever you are, it's always a good time for wine and cheese, unless you're challenged with alcoholism. Yeah, better not. But on the other hand, if you're a controlled individual and you do it responsibly, we recommend wine and cheese. You know, Greg and I appreciate wine and cheese. We don't appreciate abusing it or drinking and driving, though.
No.
We recommend with your local police departments and sheriffs and local communities and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Drinking and driving don't mix, and neither do foolishness and truth. So, what are we here to talk about, though? I'm Walter Bradley. This is Greg Fernandez. We're talking about truth and wine and cheese, and, well, it's a little program where we just relax with, well, what do you think? Wine, cheese, good friends who understand life a little bit.
A little bit.
And who are trying to learn and understand more about the
truth.
Exactly. We're part of Mind, Body, and Soul, Compass Commentary, and Heart Talk. This is not Heart Talk, but a division of called Wine and Cheese, or Whine and Cheese. We may whine a little bit.
Some people say we whine.
Talk about problems.
They might call us cheesy.
Yeah,
Some-
and we may even smell like cheese sometimes.
You never know. And wine, too.
True. But the reality is, this is a program in which we sit down and relax and just talk about whatever comes up.
That's right.
It will go everywhere. We'll talk about maybe Obama's hairdo,
Sure.
or his wife's, or improper comments about Obama and stand to defend him.
Sure.
You know, there's a lot of bad talk about Obama. I don't stand for that.
I do.
And not bad talk. He does not either. He stands for the truth. Bad talk is not always the truth. And Obama, maybe we don't agree with him. We can agree with the good things he does, though. That I state. With the other stuff, Mr. Obama, we stand to disagree. But apart from that,
I don't know what I would agree with him on.
wine and cheese.
Probably.
See? Mr. Obama, send us your recommendation for a good wine and cheese, and we'll toast you and thank you for sharing with Wine and Cheese with Walter Bradley and Greg Fernandez. What are two things people always like to do? Well, drink wine and eat cheese. And on Wine and Cheese, we will feature a wine and a cheese and tell you how well we like it. And we may even get one of the wine connoisseurs to come on and tell you their ratings of the wine, and maybe even throw a little tidbit out about the cheese and how to mix those two together. On Wine and Cheese, we'll be relaxed, having a good time, and just talking about the things of life. Things that interest you, and maybe some things that are not so interesting, and maybe some scary things, and maybe things for the kids and mom. Hey, mom, dad, kids, join us. Wine and Cheese is not just for the adults, it's for the kids, because we can talk about everything there, just about how moms can be moms and dads can be dads. Hey, join us. It's a kind of family thing. Join us on Wine and Cheese. Anyway.
Why does this have the big story and everything? And the Charles Shaw has no story, no background, no anything.
Well, the story is all within the bottle. It needs no story.
A gazebo is all I see.
Well, exactly.
Made in a gazebo.
Well, maybe that's where he drinks his.
With horns, for some reason.
Oh my goodness. Well, gazebo tops. Maybe,
Okay.
Maybe that's what they're going to put on the top of the pyramid.
2009, 2010. Okay, mine is worth 5 cents in Indiana and 15 cents in
Is that the wine or the bottle?
the bottle. Contains sulfites, of course.
Has no such numberage on this one.
How much would a bottle of this cost us?
$10 to $12.
Okay, well here it's only 2.
At the most, you'll find this in some stores at 15 to 20 maybe. But I think this is more in the $10 range and is a very good wine.
So this wins on quality,
Yes.
obviously.
This wins on affordability.
And affordability. This has a complete story on the back. This
And
one does
flavor.
not.
This has a mix of flavors, and you don't know which mix you'll get from time to time.
But this is Merlot. whereas this is
Red.
red.
It's just called red wine. It's a varietal. It's a mixture. And what we have here is crafting their proprietary Tractor Shed Red since 97. And it's a blend of noble Bordeaux, Italian-style varietals from each California harvest. So we got your Bordeaux's in here. And if you like them, and I do, when I started at 9 years old, I started drinking Bordeaux. Of course, I snuck into my best friend's cabinet with him, and we talked about, guess what, at that time? I said, wine and cheese.
Wine and cheese.
So I started this program at 9 years old. Don't tell my mom, oh, well, they're no longer with us, thankfully, for that area. They will never hear that I did that.
They're looking down on us.
But Carla and Rusty Coleman and Mr. and Mrs. Coleman, it was us that, if you notice your Bordeaux was a little lower, maybe quite a bit lower, Rusty and I drank it. And Rusty, I'm sorry to out you at this late stage of the game, but in our 50s, I think Mom and Dad could probably let it go now.
They can't ground you, can they?
Are you still living at home, Rusty? I don't think so. I hope not.
Then you should be all right. You should be okay.
But anyway, well, I noticed you brought this
Yeah, I did.
DVD over. What in the world is this?
I brought this movie here called The Obama Deception from Infowars.com. And Alex
Obama
Jones.
deceiving? He's a president. They don't deceive us, they lead us.
Oh no. Oh no. They lead us through deception.
Oh, now
That's
wait
all.
a minute. Wait a minute. He's an elected public official as a representative of the Republic based on the elective process, which elected him over McCain and who did he beat anyway?
Oh, he beat a lot of people.
Well, who did he go against running in the oh, McCain. What? No, was it McCain?
Well, yeah, it was. But in the primary, remember, he also the man who was named his vice president, Joe Biden. He was also competing against him. He was competing against Hillary Clinton. Even Ron Paul was.
So
on
would
the
Joe
Republicans.
Biden be the dark president?
Joe Biden might be. Joe Biden might be the Dick Cheney to our new George Bush, and that's what I would call Barack Obama is Bush 2. I think Barack Obama is worse than Bush. I think he's probably the worst president we've ever had.
Well, this is interesting. You know, there aren't any bad presidents. Let me explain what I mean by that. The only president we've really had in the current era is John F. Kennedy. And because he was good, they had to kill him because he really did stand for the people, I believe. And, you know, there was no magic bullet. That agent that shot him from the front and blew his head off.
What agent?
Oh, well, the agent that really didn't exist at the grassy knoll that worked for the...
Not the agent sitting in the driver's seat.
See, the musical that they play for the presidents and have them view this wonderful musical. It's a wonderful film. But it does convey a good message for those who don't understand it. And they probably show them at Bilderberger groups or whatever it may be. You know, at the Marriott. You know, the Bilderbergers and all these elites think they really control the world. And you know what I say to that? You know, the only joke that's bigger than that is
Obama.
Oh, wow, what a comeback. Those that lead you will support you. And you know what I know about that? They lied to you. But anyway, getting back to happier subjects, the wine that the earth and the Father has produced and given to all men, including the Bilderbergers. Do you know the Father gives them the best wine, the best food, the best hotels?
You think so?
Oh, have you seen them? Have you seen their estates?
But this
and they're the ones that make some of the... Thank you guys for making some of the... You Rothschilds out there. You make the best wine in the world. Goodness. You know, in your cellars and in the cellars of the Vatican are some of the oldest things around.
But it's not good things. They might make these wines, but the best wine is the
wine in the bread. Red.
It's
Basing it on the resurrection of the Master.
Not on the materialistic standards that we have today. That's why a person like me can get $2 Chuck and proudly buy $2 Chuck. Or proudly buy this. This is a good price wine too.
You know, there's a lot of good people out there that work in the wine industry and that work throughout the world. and even work for these families.
Maybe we should go take a trip and go find them.
Well, we should film it. But Mr. Rothschild and Mr. Rockefeller, we're not against you.
I am against you.
I am against what you do. You as a person are just like me. You're a sinner. May not like that fact, but I think somebody greater than me said it, and so I'll stand behind him. You may kill me. Maybe you will. Maybe you really will kill me. But they did it to him for the same reason, for power. Unfortunately, that didn't work, and it's not going to work for you either. But hey, if you think it will and you're going to do it, you have to live with the consequences. We'll live with ours. Do you know, I like a lot of good things that the Rothschilds do provide.
Really?
Let me tell you what. Yes. The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers.
This kind of goes with the...
Because they do provide people jobs. And you do, and we're thankful for that. Their money, and a lot of it, more than we can probably imagine in some cases, more than I'll ever see in my, if I had 10 lifetimes, wouldn't see all that much money. They do provide jobs, wealth, they provide for people, money. Howbeit, they do extract from governments and people more than enough to cover their expenses.
Well, because they're not interested in covering any type of thing. All they're interested in
Well,
is controlling everything. And they throw us little pennies. They throw us little breadcrumbs.
well, yeah, like they say,
People are happy with it.
Well, the thing is, they don't even own what they have. It's a gift to them too. We have to understand that. But they do
I think
amass
it's a
it.
curse.
Well,
It's a curse
yes,
for them.
yes. It's very difficult to manage that money, and I bet you do have a lot of headaches keeping all those. I mean, we the American people dealing with Congress was a mess. But man, I bet you dealing with all of them there.
Dealing with
Woo,
themselves.
you've got to cover up a lot of dirt on all of that. And I don't envy you in the least.
I don't either. I mean,
You got a lot of work, and I think in my little piteous position, although I do work at the behest of one greater than anybody in this world. So, and Greg too, I do believe, and many other people. And we're simple people. We're not glory seekers. And I've sung before crowds before, little crowds. I'm not a stadium singer. I'm not a professional singer or anything like that. Here's the professional. Good truth music too. And I heard him at his last concert here in Oakland at the, do you want me to mention the club?
Sure.
3411 on MacArthur. It's not the greatest, most posh place, but it does have a good service bar and a good dance floor.
And great people, actually.
And
They
they're
have
great
a
people out
couple
there.
great bouncers or security guards.
I like those guys because I came
They
up
were really
there and they
nice.
welcomed me so well.
They were really
I
cool.
felt very comfortable, and that's a good neighborhood. I grew up, well, not grew up, but I lived there in Patterson, and I love the neighborhood. The only bad thing I saw there, and I think somebody was upset at the guy at the Seven Seas bar down the street. When I was on the building up there praying and looking around, the guy came and emptied a clip from a 45, an A1, 1911 A1, inside the brand new Corvette.
Really?
That was a little disconcerting, but since I was far away and he wasn't after me, I just watched it, called the police, said, oh yeah, there's a guy down here emptying a clip into a Corvette. I don't know if anybody's in it, but if they are, they probably need medical assistance.
Yeah.
So, that's Oakland, but that's also Detroit and
It's
New
everywhere,
York.
sure.
It's in the backwoods up in Texas, Arkansas. Don't let city slickers tell you the country hicks are nuts and bad, because ain't nobody has got anything above anybody else in this world.
Right.
We all fall short, we all make mistakes, and we all do it because we want to benefit, whatever it is. And only the Bible and the Word of God can deal with that. And the way to relax is not to go beat up somebody and try to take their money or fool somebody or do drugs or whatever it is the wicked do out there, whether it be gangsters, or any of the others, because really they're just wasting their time.
Yeah, they are.
Because really the Bible says those who spend their life doing debauchery will be destroyed. Nobody believes him. I don't know why, but everybody tries to bury the Father in the grave and he resurrected. They say that doesn't exist, and that did Jesus really exist? If he didn't exist, all this that you see happening is just your dream.
Well, yeah, I mean, but to their credit, even Thomas had a hard time really thinking that Jesus came back to
Well, of
life,
course,
you know?
if I would have
So-
been there and they said he resurrected from the
You
dead,
probably would have been like,
no. After seeing his
after
miracles,
seeing it,
that might have been thinking, well,
but
maybe
that's-
this happened.
But that's what I don't get about Thomas, and it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh well, if I was Thomas, I would have known or
Yeah,
whatever.
true.
But
I'm sure he had some pretty good wine himself out there.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had the best without sulfites in it too.
Well, you know what? When the master made the water into wine,
And organic.
I tell you what, when he made the water into wine, all of this stuff does not even come close to that.
It's true.
Because if
Forget
you
the hard
have
stuff.
water that turns to wine by the master's voice, just say, oh, go take that to the governor. I guarantee you, you will not find a better wine anywhere, even if you go, let's
that's
just say a
nice.
billion light years away. Hey, it don't matter. That's the
the whole
best.
thing. You could have a $1 billion Rockefeller wine right here, but if Jesus Christ, if the Lord has blessed this wine,
Put that $2 check against it.
this is it.
Hey, ain't nothing gonna beat it.
And that's how
But
it
it's
is.
fun working with Greg. It was hard for me to get into this because I'm not a public speaker or a public person, and I don't have that knack of
Oh, you do. You do.
there.
You do.
I'm a very private person, and you probably think I'm totally nuts. What am I doing this for? It's because of my multiple personalities. I just pick one out of the closet, and I put it on, and then I come out here. No, I pray real hard. Alex Jones is more polished than I. And Alex, if you ever and we ever meet, I'll buy you a Tractor Shed Red and we can talk. And maybe get Jesse Ventura and good old Willie there. I used to see him around Texas, and he's just an old boy there, a good one and a great singer, and one of my favorite singers.
Because you're from Texas too.
Yes, and
From Austin.
well, I'm around Austin
Around
area, north. Is it north? Yes.
Austin
anything
seems
north
to
of
be
the
pretty known area for some reason.
yeah, Austin.
That's not because of Steve Austin.
No, probably not.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, now Stone
Not the
Cold.
6 million
Now
dollar
he's yeah, I know Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was my son's when he was into the wrestling.
Yeah.
Loved Stone Cold.
Oh, I love wrestling, man.
And I'm not one of those. I knew you were in it, and I am not a wrestling fan, though I do respect Jesse Ventura and Hulk Hogan.
Jesse
I like
was
the people.
Best, he was the best color commentator. He was the best villain commentator
Oh,
ever.
yes.
I mean, he played that role. He was the only guy who could knock Hulk Hogan down and really get him where he
Who
was.
did this?
Jesse Ventura.
Oh, Jesse Ventura.
And
Jesse.
He was
dude,
so good at it that they ended up. It seemed like they ended up pushing him out the door because they wanted commentators to build up Hulk Hogan and build up their stars, where Jesse would just be able to point out every little bad thing, and it was stuff that you couldn't argue with because he was right on.
But neither would you argue with a former SEAL. That's why they had to escort him out.
I wouldn't
I wouldn't argue
know
with
what?
any United States Navy SEAL
I would.
or any of our professional forces, and I thank you all for doing your jobs.
I would argue with anyone that basically disagrees with me. I don't care if they're a SEAL. I don't care what they are. Now, I was brought up that if somebody's older than you, obviously you
give honor.
You do it.
And you
in a
give honor to the
respectful
position
way.
and the service, and I do that. I was part of the United States military. I dealt with nuclear weapons, and that's why I have a gray beard.
Well, there's a brotherhood with you Navy guys.
Well, yeah, and especially with our submarines dealing with the SEALs, like Jesse Ventura, we worked with them, and I remember a guy that had an arm as big as my leg, about to go swimming. He was going to take swimming lessons. They were going on just a tech op, just a little, exercise. Of course, we know what those exercises usually turned out to be. We'd hear about them in the news sometimes, after the fact. And it almost looks like the former vice president there.
Yeah,
Is that a clone? And he's...
Webster,
Wait a minute.
Webster
He's playing
Tarpley.
both sides. He played the
Might be.
VP. Now he's on the other side.
Tarpley's a little more sharp than Dick Cheney, but
Oh, okay.
but no, he's
No offense, Dick.
No, Tarpley's really on it. Tarpley's up on all this stuff,
Oh, well, that's good. And
They
there's
call-
Alex. I didn't know he was a fellow Texan. I thought he
Yeah.
was in Atlanta, Georgia.
No,
But he's a Texan.
He's an old
I can tell he eats some barbecue based on that shirt. Hey, Alex, did you get to the latest barbecue?
Actually, if you look at him, because this is 2008, if you look at him now, man, he's pretty thin.
Oh, you trimmed up. Did you do Weight Watchers or the what is everybody doing now?
He did this thing.
Nutrisystem
He did
or
this thing called Tangy Tangerine, and
that sounds like a fad diet.
I don't know. All I know is
Alex, you'll have to explain that one.
It really worked for them.
You did a good job, evidently, according to Greg. Because I have seen you recently, and you look like you trimmed out.
Well, there were other people who've taken it too, and you notice a big difference.
But he seems upset in this one.
Oh, he's very upset. They're at
Bilderberger.
the Bilderberg conference right there.
Hey, if any Bilderberger will send us a good wine, we will comment on it here. Or Dick Cheney, Mr. Bush. Hey, I drove past your ranch in Crawford. I
would rather have wine from a truther. I'd rather have wine from one of our own kind.
Well,
no.
You don't reject a gift nor look a gift horse in the mouth.
I don't want an evil gift from evil people.
Well, gifts are not evil. Nothing external of us is evil. It's what comes out of a man that's evil.
Right.
And
I don't want what comes out of them. What comes out of Dick Cheney and the Rockefellers and those guys, I don't want him to get.
Well, they're still made in the image of God, no matter how they mar it. We have to give them the honor and give good to those, it says.
Which is harder than it, obviously.
Well, it has to take God within, the almighty power of the Spirit within, because the Master himself gave nothing but good to Israel and the people, and look what they did to him. So when you give good and get killed, hey, that's normal.
Yeah, but look what Christ did to the money changers, though.
Oh yeah, he drove them out of the temple with whips and cords.
Yeah.
Of course, they returned the favor.
If any of you pastors are just like those money changers, change your ways now. We need more churches. We need more good churches. And remember, the church is not a building. Jesus Christ is the head of the church, and we are the body of that church. So where there is two or more, there he is.
And we say this to anybody watching this in all seriousness. If you have not looked into the word of the living Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Shabbat Shalom, turn. Quit lying to yourself. He comes. Anathema Maranathes. Andrew Gabriel Roth. He's written some very fine books. And the Aramaic New Testament, which I do recommend reading. But Andrew, put the old with the new. Don't cut them apart. My only admonition. It's good, but you got to put the whole together. You cannot separate it or cut one from the other. I do not stand for that. I use it as a study guide, but I really would prefer the whole word. We need that. This world needs the whole word. Because for every house, there is a foundation. The Old Testament, from the Father, puts forth the New Testament, who is Yahushua HaMashiach.
And
all praise to him.
There's a strong thing to be said that, especially in this day and age, how are we going to get people to start looking at Christ? How are we going to get people excited about the Bible and excited about these things? And I would start with the New Testament. I would really start with the four Gospels. Personally, I would start with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. At least one of those. Because
one of the things you've got to do, though, is you've got to start in Genesis before you go those. And let me explain how. At least the first 3 chapters or 4.
Well, you got
maybe 5.
You got to really think that the whole it just like you said, it's a whole thing.
Exactly.
It is one. But what is the core? What is the center? When it really comes down to it, what is the Father asking from us? And that seems to be salvation. And you can get a very good, clear picture of what salvation is by reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, or
Savior, who is Yahushua HaMashiach,
right.
Or as they call him in this Western world, Jesus of Nazareth, which many of us will disagree with that, because if it's Yahshua in the Old Testament who led Israel into the promised land, then it's Yahushua who does it here. Jesus is a different name a little bit, and I'm a little uncomfortable with it to some extent, based on that, because based on the Old Testament and the bringing forth of him who came, Yah of old, who saves, Yahshua. So that's just me and many people who follow after the word in that way. And I think I have that supports it. And I have many other views that are different from what I call the mainstream American Western Christianity. There's a lot of areas which I look at, possibly that has led to their troubles, is leaven, or the destruction of the understanding of the word. And this comes through not just, a lot of them blame
But that
the
sounds
Catholic Church.
like laws again, because from my point of view, when you get into the names and you only call him this name or you only say that name, it goes back to those laws. It goes back to those Jewish people telling, not the Jewish people, but the Pharisees telling us what to do. These are our laws. And if that was true, why did I hear the name Jesus Christ? Why didn't God give me that name? What is the real importance in the name if we don't understand the person behind that name?
Exactly.
And so,
and that is the thing.
When
the
you
name
think of,
describes the person.
but really
And
really
what he is
not.
doing.
Really not.
No,
Because
it's true.
the name does for them for a long time ago. But like I said, we're not saving people way back then. We're trying to save people now. We're trying to bring people to Christ now.
Yeah.
And so, we are in that time where, for whatever reason, God gave us the name Jesus Christ. God gave the Russians a different name. He gave the Germans a different name. But what does it really matter? What does the name really matter if you don't have faith? And you don't want to have the faith in that name. You want to have the faith in the Savior. You want to have the faith in God, whatever you want to call God. Because once we get wrapped up in these names, then we start looking for, well, where does Christ say?
Each man has a measure of faith given to them, and each is part of the body, the spiritual body, whom the Master Yahushua is the head. Now, in that, we must relate to each other's brothers. As you notice, I don't get angry at Greg for his point. He doesn't get angry at me. Maybe he wants to beat me in the head in his mind, but he doesn't do that. No. He could even make me a fillet, but he doesn't do that either. I love him as a brother, and I expect that each of us out there, the one way in testimony that will do better than anything, it says you will be known, you are his, or a believer, or a follower of Yahushua, if you love one another. Are you doing that? Am I doing that? I have to face myself sometimes and understand I have failed. Everybody does. But we have an advocate if we do. If we confess and forsake that sin and confess how horrid it is to depart the living Elohim of creation for our own way, this is anathema, accursed. Never stay in that curse, else you be cast out in the day he comes. Pray that you be able to stand in the day he comes, because when he comes, the terror will be here, and there's not one new world order person who will back you or save you then. Satan in all his glory and power will be fleeing into the earth, hiding from him who comes. And you, if you're not with him, will be joining them. It isn't a game. It isn't a fanciful story. It's your life. And then begins a new era of which there is no turning back. That's why I speak. There are some out there that are listening right now that your heart is moved back to the Father. Go to the Word and find yourself and find your salvation. It's waiting for you. Whether you be Clarice, or maybe Obama, or maybe Michelle, or maybe you're a member of Congress. Maybe you're Alex Jones. Maybe you're just like me, a poor Texan making a living and producing things not for the money, but for the honey of the Savior, the sweetness of his goodness. I do this not because I want notoriety. It comes with it sometimes, and I'm not looking for fame or fortune. Though sometimes those do come to people like me or others, like the ones who won the 110 million mega millions jackpot. And congratulations. Buy a good wine and cheese and enjoy. So, I'm Walter Bradley.
Greg Fernandez.
And this is Wine and Cheese. We got into some serious stuff, but it's because it's serious enough to be spoken. Consider it. And if you don't want to, turn us off. Move on to what you want to do. We're not going to force it. It's up to you. So stand by. This message will be repeated. And at the end, every knee will bow and every tongue confess. Yahushua HaMashiach is King and Almighty to the glory of the Father Yahuwah. Hallelujah. And good day, and may we see you again here at Whine and Cheese. Hey, by the way, we'll change subjects. It won't stay on just this. We're going to go all over the world with this. We'll talk about pasta, Pistol Pete, Jesse Ventura. Hi, Jesse. And Bilderbergers. And, Bohemian Grove. This is one that we'll hit on in Wine and Cheese and in Heart Talk, of which I am host, and in my other programming beginnings. Look for us. We'll be looking for you. And if you see us, stop and say hi. We want to hear from you. And send the emails. Tell us how we're wrong, right, or what you like and don't like. Hey, be respectful. We respect you no matter how you do it. But we prefer to speak to people and not be derided just because we don't believe what you believe. We will respect you and honor you as the person you are, made in the image of the Almighty. We're thankful to have you with us, and we look forward to again next on Wine and Cheese. Welcome, this is Walter Bradley with Whine and Cheese. And you know, I like drinking wine a little bit, occasionally. And I like having conversations with Greg. And, you know, I'm not always going to be the host. I'm not the host of Wine and Cheese, but we'll have many hosts and probably a monthly one who will come in and introduce Wine and Cheese. It is a Mind, Body, Soul production under Compass Commentary and is joined with other features that we do produce and enjoy. I'm one of the hosts of Heart Talk. Greg has his program, and there's beginnings. But this is about wine and cheese. And what we do here is talk about featured wines and featured top stories of the day. Hey, that's a good mix. And we can let you send subjects in and we'll whine about it or talk about it. Hey, we can even laugh about it. And you know, there's nothing like a good laugh, good bottle of wine, and good friends. And you're all our friends, and we'd like to have you join us. And even when you see us out in public, if we're doing it, come on over, say hello. We'll get you on camera, and we'll talk about wine and cheese, and then you'll get to be talking about the podcast that you were on with us here on Wine and Cheese. I'm Walter Bradley. I'm from Texas, and I like barbecue with good wine, or maybe a beer occasionally. I don't drink much, but I drink more like wine. Used to drink scotch, and I can talk scotch and tell you some good ones, but I would say do not over imbibe. I do not advocate drinking to get drunk or to buzz your brain. Drink to enjoy it and then stop at the appropriate point.
That's the difference with wines. That's what you usually do with them. You know?
It's more when you're with family and friends and being together.
You know what I mean? People take shots. I don't. But
No, I don't
wine
either.
is more of a social thing.
It's a conversational drink.
It's a conversation.
Because with some drinks you drink, you don't conversate.
Yeah, I would like to see a show called Shots and Cheese, and I'd like to see how sober they could be. I
Well,
doubt they
you
could
know,
do it.
I think somebody will come up with that show. You know,
Shots and Cheese?
yeah, you know who would do that show very well?
I don't know.
He was in this show, you know, and I think his dad would probably not like hear you saying that because he would do it. 2.5 Men, somebody comes to him,
Okay,
and there's a sheen to this.
Charlie
that I
Sheen.
Oh, wow! Charlie, if you want,
One of my
we can
favorite
do a show
actors.
together and do Shots and Cheese, and we'll do the scotch.
I love it.
Charlie is a good guy too, and we appreciate you. And if you want to do shots and cheese, as long as it's in with good scotch, you, Charlie, and me,
I think Charlie would go
I would go
for wine. I have a feeling the real Charlie Sheen likes wine over hard alcohol. That's just my personal opinion, based on nothing.
yeah, I understand that. But, one thing I'm sure, he's gotten clean, and I appreciate that. You did a very good job back in that time. Your Berkeley days were kind of roughhousing, and I remember walking through your neighborhood and hearing the music. And I thought, wow, that guy's a party animal. And yeah, you were a beast. You were like the wolf of Berkeley.
Sheen Sheen was very, very brave back in 2005 to
Oh, yeah.
2006. He was actually speaking out against September 11th. I mean, he was talking about.
Because he's like me. He knows what happened. And he spoke the truth.
In 2008 or 2009,
a man of respectable dignity.
He had 20 questions for the president.
And I'm sure he answered all of none of them.
He answered none of them. But those things led to him having problems in the workplace, which we've all had.
Of course, the arms of Obama don't hug everybody.
The arms of Obama are very long.
And he told Charlie, no, you can't.
But Charlie said, yes, I can. And Charlie defied the odds. We're with you. Wine and cheese.
You have a Sheen that's worth looking upon.
Absolutely.
A good Sheen. Take care. And your dad. I observe and like him too. And you're great actors, and I appreciate all your movies.
And let's just say that his dad is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie coming out.
Congratulations, Mr. Sheen.
You deserve it.
You deserve it. Good job. And I like a lot of people in Hollywood. Even Clint Eastwood.
I like Clint Eastwood.
He was a good guy. Didn't drink, doesn't smoke. A wise man, raised his family well.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah, but he's cleaner than dirty. And I appreciate you, sir. And I've met you, and I enjoyed the time. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. We talked about submarines, and you came out with Firefox. Hey, that was my idea. You owe me. I thank you.
Thank you.
That's all. I'm not after your money. I don't care about your money. I care about you as a person. Hey, so be it.
That's what we do here on Wine and Cheese.
We're all about the people, and good people like Clint Eastwood, Charlie Sheen, his children turned out pretty well because he raised them right. I respect Clint Eastwood, and I respect Charlie Sheen and
there's
his
a lot
dad.
of great actors.
There's a lot of great people in the business that just do it right.
Now, there's a lot of bad people who might run the business.
Yeah, careful now. There's some people that run it due to the powers that be. I don't know. They know about the business, but they run it according to wrong directions, maybe. Which would be true. Because business is business.
If they knew about the business, they would run it according to the right direction.
Exactly. Now that I agree with. But as far as the business aspect, they can make a good movie and do it. But to make a real movie, now where's the difference? A real movie is talking about the reality of life. Yeah, and they've made real movies, but with the wrong angle.
I would like to see a real movie about September 11th. That's what I'd like to see.
Remember who owns Hollywood.
Not this World Trade Center movie or this.
Hey Charlie, we need to talk about that one. So we'll invite you down to do Heart Talk, and you can speak out. I know you get a lot of air in there.
These guys in Hollywood,
hey,
they know.
We'll do it.
They're probably more up on this stuff than we are because they get some inside information.
Maybe more up than a few, but me, I'm an insider. Let me say that now. I was in the military. And I had the inside.
What I'm talking about as far as the whole entertainment business.
Oh, that, of course. Oh, yes.
These guys
they know where their power comes from.
They know who Lady Gaga really is. They know who Madonna really is. They know what is real and what is not. And hopefully they can help us get the information out there while drinking wine and cheese. Don't drink cheese. Drink the wine.
Well, if you get it hot enough, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't want to.
No. Cheese you can drink. I tried it once when I was a kid. It melted, I put it in, it came out.
I guess that's drinking. I guess.
Yeah, it was liquid, but it wasn't cool. It was really hot.
There's
Which
a lot
in
of things.
today's, it can be cool, you can be hot, but when it's your cheese, not.
You know what
Not
else
when you do
isn't
that way.
isn't cool? A global government. That's not
But
cool.
that's going to happen anyway. We know it.
But it's not cool.
No, it isn't.
And it's not good.
But the thing is, it's just preparing for the real government that's coming.
Well, it is.
They're the pretense. They're the pretend government. It's called the New World Order. But I'm talking about the true world order. And it will come and displace them like a gnat. See, they're a gnat. They may have power, but it's the power of a gnat. A gnat is irritating. The New World Order will be very irritating. You will be. Come on, admit it. You know you're planning it. Duh. Don't think we don't see you. We see you before you get here. But the thing is, at least some of us, some people, well, as you know, duh, did they ever even grow up? But some people that pay attention and have the money to do so mentally will be able to see this. And I saw it a long time ago. And I had a mother that had an IQ that was tested at 200. Why didn't you hear about her? Because she didn't give up about anything except, and that's, don't let children see that, because that's not a thing to, well, never mind. It's not a child program now. But the thing
All of
is,
a sudden, no, it's not a child program because they shouldn't be seeing us.
it's reality, and it's dealing with subjects that is better left to mom and dad explaining in an appropriate atmosphere. Let me tell children now, if you're seeing this, one of the things I want you to do is talk to your mother and dad about truth. What is truth? Where do you find truth? And why is it so important to be for it?
And respect your elders.
And your mother and dad always. Because how you love your
And
mother
their
and dad,
parents. And their parents.
that's right. And how you love and respect your mother and dad, your family, friends, and neighbors shows what kind of person you are and will be.
Treat them the way you would want to be treated.
And if you have a capable mind, use it to do good.
Please.
And work at learning your math, as my son has just recently learned about getting his math. And the teacher said, what's the problem if you would have done this? He says, in 6 months, this kid's going to be doing calculus. I'm going, what? My son? That said, I don't like math. I don't do math. Now he's saying, I like this. I want to go for a doctorate.
It's not easy. If you have some math skills, use them to your advantage. Use them for good.
Apply them to 911.
If you know math, you know you can get far in this country. Even just in a secular point of view, you can get very, very far. But if you know math, God has given you something. He's given you some type of gift. Use that gift.
And don't
because
let
there's a
people
reason for it.
nag you or make fun of you because you're a nerd or whatever it is they're going to say.
There's no such
Because
thing.
you got a gift that's better than
Those are
theirs.
just labels.
That's
Those are just
right.
labels that kids.
That kids that feel inferior because you got a gift. That's what it is. And they want to make you feel bad so that they want to limit you. Are you wanting to be limited? Strive for excellence and you'll be fine.
You will.
Don't listen to the naysayers or the big buff jocks that, can run 50 yards in 4.4 or 100 yards in 4.4. Whoa, that would
Be
be
yourself.
fast.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Know your strengths and know your weaknesses. And thrive on your strengths.
And find good friends that believe in you. That's the most important thing. Because you can have all the good stuff, but if you hang around people that always knock you down, you don't have any friends. You just have people you like hanging with because you want to impress them, or you want to be like them.
You will see it. You will
Be
see
real
it.
and be with people who really like you. Come on, get real.
Just, it's a filter. And the more that you hang around these people,
Listen to your parents. They'll tell you who really care and who
Well,
are good for you.
hopefully,
Well, if they're good parents.
hopefully.
I know there are parents out there that really do a bad job and some that you should just actually get away from.
No, but every parent has their faults. Every parent has their.
But there are some
strong
that are
points.
abusive that need to be dealt with and that the children need to get away from. And for you who are in those situations,
There are
we
places
pray
to go.
that you can talk to a competent authority.
You know, my
And
mom
likewise.
has helped out a lot of trouble youth in that spot.
Go to somebody you respect and trust and that you know won't hurt you. That's important. Do that.
But always try to make it right. Figure out what the problem is with your parents. If you can reconcile
This is
those
good.
problems, do it. If your parents are troublesome, if they're abusive, there's always places you can go. Just
And there's
pray about it.
always reasons that they may have been hurt in their past. Try to have compassion.
It's hard. It's hard
Very
to
hard.
do.
I
And
know. I've
It's
been
easy
there.
for us to say.
I've been there though.
Because we're not in your shoes, but you can get out of that spot that you're in. You don't have to live in hell.
And
You
I
don't
will.
have to live in these
I have two
troubles.
people that I talk
There is
about
a way
at Whine
out.
and Cheese. The couple that I told about.
Yeah.
I won't say the names because it's
Yeah.
not appropriate. But at my local fellowship, too, I would love to get them on the program and talk about how they came out of lives that should have led to drugs.
Maybe we could just get them to be a guest on our show.
Well, I'll ask them and see about
We'll drive
this
down
couple.
there.
It's the
We'll drive
pastor's
down
daughter
there.
and his husband.
And all they
And
have
we'll have to
to
go
do,
to Hercules,
We'll
and
drive
we
down
can
there.
go to a great little restaurant I know.
That's right. And all they have to do is just to be willing to talk. They don't even have to.
And they'll be
they-
willing to share their testimony,
That's
and
right.
I would love to
They
have them.
don't even have to have their faces in there if they don't want to.
Okay, so you know who you are, and if you're seeing this, you know who you are. Then you know who you are. You can be on here and share to reach out to people in need like yourselves. And we're willing to put you up front and say, we love you and we want you to do this. And you have two great kids too. I love them too. I love you both too. And he will too, I know. Just naturally. And you can meet his great wife. I've known her since she was a little, well, even probably younger than 16 and seen her. But I didn't know her until she was 16. Probably saw her when she was just a wee toddler. Now she's a grown woman with a great husband that I've met. And I'm doing something now that I never thought I'd be doing with her husband and being so closely tied to it. I thought I would have known that she got married, moved away, and lives in the big house in wherever. But it turned out we've become great friends.
It's meant
And
to
I
be.
support him 100%, he and his wife. And we don't mention names here because safety, security, and life and love. But they're great people, and I am privileged to know them and their grandparents and parents and his mom and dad, who are great people. And it shows. And I'm thankful to be part of this because it's part of who I am. And this is Whine and Cheese, and we've gone through some real subjects here. But it's good stuff, and we want it to be good. If you find something offensive, now, as long as you're respectful, you can send us that information and we'll talk about it honestly and respect you and let you talk your mind here on Whine and Cheese. Or maybe you want to do it on Heart Talk. I don't know. I don't bring people or guests on beginnings. That's my
Warren
policy.
Beginnings.
I could do that.
They could talk there.
And we can do it, but it's respectful and we want actually cogent
Real
words
people.
and understanding
Real people.
that have a real understanding of the problem and disagree about a real issue.
We don't want
I want it
government
to be-
agents. We want real.
Now you brought them
honest
all here.
people.
You just told them now they're going to look.
They're already going to look for us. We don't want them. We want real, natural people. That's who we're reaching out to. Those government people, they're always going to be there, but we want the real people. That's
We
who
want
we're
somebody
talking
like
to.
the mom who doesn't have a husband, who's got that child, wants to
Whoever
come
you
and say hello about what you see and know about government or Whine and Cheese.
Or whatever.
And how you view your life and what we're talking about. We invite you to join us here on Whine and Cheese or Heart Talk. Or on beginnings, it's going to be a very limited amount of people. I'm very strict on who I would let on there. It's my own personal show.
Oh wow, I feel
And-
privileged.
and
because
he's gonna-
I've been on it.
Of course, how could I leave you out? You're my boss. You
No,
never
not-
diss the boss. Anyway, he's my producer and boss.
I'm not his boss because he's my elder, and I respect my elders, and they have more wisdom than me. They live longer than me. They know more things than me. So
Theoretically, I try to share what I've learned, and it's only based on the fact that I've made the same mistakes he might make or hasn't made yet.
which
and
I
I'm
can learn
trying to
from,
prevent.
and I can learn
So,
from those.
in other words, an
before I make
experienced
them,
person is somebody who's made all those mistakes you haven't made.
and we'll
Listen to
share
it.
them with a younger person.
And I'll even tell you about some mistakes I made with girls,
All you have to do is
wine,
listen.
women, and song.
Just be willing to listen to the
Even
elder.
if you're a thug and you're a gangster, I can talk to you. Been there. I've ran a bunch of stuff, and I did stuff before you were born. And No, I won't go into that and tell all my woes. It'd have to be personal.
That would be a long,
face to
long
face.
story, I think. That'd be a
Oh,
long
it'd be a scary
segment.
story.
I don't know if YouTube will let us make a segment that long since they cut me down.
But we're going to welcome you to Whine and Cheese, and
We
this
are.
is what we do here: is we talk about anything, everything, and we let it just flow and go. And flow, you know, we like progressive, so we'll invite you with Whine and Cheese too. So Flo, if you're ever in the progressive area and you want to talk about progressive insurance, and call and click today. Bring your wine and your time and your young, intelligent self here. You're young because you're younger than I am, and you look so good. And well, you're a wonderful person. You do a good job on that. So join us on Wine and Cheese, and we can talk progressively. Call or click today with Wine and Cheese. How did I get into that? We'll go to San Luis Obispo, and I'm going to visit a good friend of mine. I'm not going to mention her name because privacy. But she lives there, and she's a good friend, and has always been a good heart to me. And I'm going to let her heart talk about psychiatry, her experiences. Which will be another good thing to talk about on Heart Talk with Greg Fernandez and Walter Bradley. And to Chloe at the mall, I really respected that. That was really good. You sold me a shirt. I spent a bunch of money for it because I really liked it. And because you're such a good conversationist, is that a word? Conversationist. Conversationist. Well, if it isn't, let's make a new one. And you were such a good conversationalist that I really liked you and really thought, you know, you'd be good to have on the show talking about what it's like to work in Lucky's store. And I had my blue Lucky shirt. And you know what? You sold me that shirt, and one of the ladies at work said, that color fits you. That looks so nice. And Lucky's in, can I say the place in Dublin Pleasanton? Go to the Lucky store. Chloe, go to Chloe. She'll sell it well and do it well. And if you're a woman, the guys will be going, yeah, that looks good on you. And to the women, for the guys, yeah, that looks good. Because she just has the style that around. So visit Chloe at Lucky's there at the Stone Ridge Mall. And Chloe, as we say, he doesn't have any wine, but he'll cure the last drop for you. Thank you, Chloe.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome. This is Wine and Cheese, or you can have wine and cheese too. We choose to mix those together, and we're here today with Greg Fernandez, and I'm Walter Bradley. And today we're talking about just cheap cheese. Sometimes that's pretty good. Last time I was here, I bought some fairly, low-range Australian cheddar, which was really awesome. We got it Farm and Cheese in Park Street in Alameda. So welcome, and go there when you visit Alameda, or if you live in Alameda. I'm sure you're quite aware of Farm and Cheese there. The great organic produce, and we believe that's just a wonderful place to shop. And any organic, true organic food, meaning food fresh from the ground and taken care of by the farmer and brought to you whole and fresh, is good food. And we thank the organic farmers and those who stay true to their ideals, no matter what kind of regulations tend to make it a little difficult to be real about that. And, the FDA is now limiting laughter because they found in the Bible it's a medicine. And the FDA is probably going to have to do a little investigation on laughter. And laughter is forbidden until they certify that it is truly a health benefit. And then we have to pay tax. No, that's facetious. But that's how far they might go in the future, so stand by.
It's possible. It's really possible. Yeah.
No, but you got to introduce a little fun in life and laugh, because if you take it too serious, and there's a lot of serious things to be serious about, as I think Lincoln said, if we don't laugh, we'll all go mad.
Okay.
And so I think that's close to the quote. If not, correct me and give me the total quote. I didn't do it. I'm just basing it on a little bit of memory, me reading it. For those kids who haven't read things about your history, you're in trouble.
It's time.
Because
Please do.
the history that you're reading ain't exactly the history that you have. And your schools, not that they all of them mean bad, but the books produced, however, that have history don't really give you but a fine veneer of cotton candy history. And we all need, that little cotton candy feel-good history. We went to the moon. We're great. We kicked butt. We won the war. We're here. We're Americans. However, I'm ashamed of some of the things that America has done, even though I'm glad and thankful for the good and the many good people that I've met and seen in America. Oh, and also Afghanistan, Iraqis, and many other people that I find. And here at Wine and Cheese, we welcome you all, even Barack Obama, which we did ask you to send us your select wine and cheese. And Mr. Obama, after that Bilderberger group, please send us one of theirs. We would like to try one of those. Or Mr. Rockefeller, you can try that.
It might be poison.
No.
You never know.
No. They don't do it in your face. No. And no pun intended there. We know that y'all don't, go after overtly and destroy people.
Just covert.
Possibly. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I can only speculate, I guess. But
yes, this is all speculation. The reason that we have wine is we've had yeast that ate the sugar, took the sugar out, and left the wine.
Sounds like our
and the alcohol.
Which wine are we drinking here?
This is what's our name
it's
here?
Right here, right in front of my face. Charles Shaw, $2 Chuck, as we call it.
Charles Shaw.
Now,
well, Charlie.
Anybody on a budget should know about Charles Shaw.
And if you're dealing with the Ripple or the others, Mad Dog 2020 or anything, we won't be sampling those. Those are all well known, and a lot of people drink them.
Yeah, there might be a show out there.
Yeah, Ripple 101.
Ripple and cheese or something.
Hey, there we go.
But
Mad Dog 2020 and the best crackers we've got.
Yeah, right. That's a great mix there. Charles Shaw Merlot, cellared and bottled by Charles Shaw Winery, Napa and Sonoma, California.
They couldn't figure out which county is the best way to get $2 chuck, I guess.
So what? So
or maybe they split it in a buck for
that's
each.
what I'm saying. I really don't get that. That just shows they're probably dumping it all in a big barrel somewhere, and
then from well, I know what that is. All the Sonoma and Napa vintners throw all their cast-off grapes to
great.
Charles, and he goes, "Oh, thanks, guys. I can make wine with this. Oh, we thought you were using it for fertilizer."
That's why it tastes so strong. Okay.
Hey, there you go.
Right. And what do we have here? We have.
Well, this is one I tried. Unfortunately, I cannot open this bottle. This is a sacred bottle. It's owned by a queen.
Okay.
And of the lineage of Victoria, so
14.3. Whew, that is probably one of the biggest volumes that you'll find for red wine. I think 14.3 is really good.
And here is Tudal, T-U-D-A-L, Family Winery, Tractor Shed Red, 2009 California red wine. Now I've had this and I liked it. It's kind of like a good, I wouldn't say a cab, but it's a good table wine. They're shifting it out there like a table wine, a European style probably. Just something you throw on the table, have it with cheese, have it with your dinner meats or your pasta. And here's a little description of Tractor Shed Red, Tudal Family Winery, 2009. We have 4 generations of growing and winemaking by the Tudal family guides the crafting of our proprietary Tractor Shed Red since the inaugural 97 vintage. Come on out to Chenard.
Chenard's in Northern California.
Yes, it's in Northern California on Palomares. I'll buy you a bottle of wine at Chenard Wine. A good Chardonnay comes from Chenard Wine.
Sure.
And Mr. Chenard, thank you. And this time, I'm going to follow what the boss said. After I click, I sip. To Chenard Wine on Palomares, right outside of Castro Valley, in between here and Livermore. And if you're looking for a place to go and taste wine and buy it by the case or the truckload, they'll make a deal for you at Chenard Wine.
Saturday and Sunday
Saturday
they
and
have a wine
Sunday?
tastings. I think it's a plus. But if you join
know,
their little
the,
club,
yeah.
they have a little club that you can join.
What's the name of this place again?
It's called Chenard.
Chenard. So if you join...
Chenard Winery. Does
They have
not.
payphones there or something?
No.
Okay.
It's called rustic. Rustic. It's actually how I used to live as a young man.
Really?
And if you look at my beard, yes.
See it.
I grew up on a place called Academy, Texas, in which at night when it got so dark you couldn't see your next door neighbors, neither could you see their house or anything unless the moon was out.
Okay.
And toilets were, well, they were close by. Not exactly in the house, but,
Like a big sinkhole or something? Or...
well, it was covered at least. Yeah. But the water was from Little River, and it was mineralized, as they said, and it tasted like it smelled. Didn't smell good, didn't taste good. If you were thirsty, you'd drink 2 swallows and you were done. Wasn't bad for you, it just tasted very bad. They didn't process it.
Okay.
But anyway, getting off that, it wouldn't have made a very good drinking water. But compared to the wine that you get at Chenard, I think they're a very excellent winery. And Greg will approve once he gets there just by the nature. It'll be a place where he can take his wife and just hang out and go, hello, I'm Walter Bradley, and one of my favorite subjects are grapes, especially grapes that have been well handled and crushed and then poured and fermented into a good beverage called wine. And I actually like to have cheese with it, but we don't have cheese. But
Not today.
good wine and Chardonnays and
Chardonnay.
beautiful weather.
Now, where can we get a good Chardonnay? In the Bay Area, Northern California, probably close to home, since we're in San
Let's
Leandro.
choose a family name that just rolls off the tongue.
Okay.
Not Quinard,
Quinard.
maybe Chenard. It's not Ducky.
Chenard. Chenard sounds
Chenard.
kind of French or something.
Yeah. And there's a family that has a winery
Where?
in and off Palomares.
No way. Right in Castro Valley?
And I actually went there with Victoria.
I live in
and
Castro
bought
Valley. I lived there my whole life. I've never heard
And
of
you
Chenard.
never been to Chenard
Never been to
Winery.
Chenard. You know
Mr.
what?
Chenard, you should have called him. He would have been there regularly, listening
Actually-
to your great music and drinking your great wine.
Actually, as someone who's lived in Castro Valley my whole life, I should have known. I should have known. Especially
You
since
should
I'm
have
a big
investigated.
wine drinker.
Yeah, you
I
did
should have
this.
investigated.
Problem.
I should have looked up his website. I should have looked up, where they are.
And they have a tasting room just waiting for us.
We're gonna have to.
Well, we will. What about Sunday?
I'm down. Sunday.
Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Chenard, we're going to drink some of your wine at Chenard Winery in Castro Valley or down Palomares. I would have to say it's on Palomares, close to Castro Valley, because you're out in a beautiful area. Catches the sun so lovely. You have done such a good job out there.
Castro Valley. Okay, so Chardonnay.
But
Good,
even
good Chardonnay.
I'm sure they do. They've won some awards. They've got the California Wine Association Award.
California
For,
wine.
I forgot what year. Is it 96? 2000? Hey, you'll have to inform us.
What you want?
And the thing is, of course, they don't sell it by the glass. They don't have that bottle. But
Hey,
you can buy the bottle.
it's probably
uncorked.
cheaper by the bottle. So
Yes,
you
it
figure you spend about $7, $8, $10 for every glass.
And this
But
is
might as well the bottle.
and it is such a nice location. Their tables are well set.
Okay.
They even have a bathroom.
I like that.
Of
I need
course.
that. Sorry.
And the vineyard is right next to the tables. You can look at the Chardonnay grape. I think they're Chardonnay.
So you can almost see what they're doing while they're doing
You're watching, you're looking at, and they're so personable and good. And I remember a little boy was with his dad, and he accidentally got into the olive oil and spilled it. He was so gracious with it, and Jenny says, "Let me handle that for you." You need to get just the right amount. You shouldn't be. It's like he was very gracious, and I was so impressed with that.
visit Chenard and visit and say Walter Bradley from Wine and Cheese and Greg Fernandez of Wine and Cheese have sent you to buy at least a case of their good wine. Anything less than a case, and you'll have to come back too much.
You know, I'm gonna have to go visit this place first before I give my full endorsement.
I'm giving it because I've been there and had the wine, so I do it because I go with what I know,
Well, I pretty
and I'm
much
bringing
trust.
him into it.
I pretty much trust what he says on that. So
But he
knows-
shouldn't trust me
knows
until
more.
he tastes it, so I'm going to make him go with
But
it.
I have a feeling that what he's saying is true. But
I enjoyed it.
we're gonna find out Sunday.
It's a well-run, good winery, and they have entertainment on every other.
You didn't mention that.
I
You mentioned
did. I
entertainment.
didn't mention it. Entertainment in the summertime, of course, and in the fall
Right
they have
about now.
special
Summertime
events.
comes out.
Yeah, like June 17th, they would do. And they have the cruise tones.
Really?
I didn't hear about them, but they're very good, I hear. So the cruise tones are going to be out there.
What type of music? do they-
Well, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s music, maybe some 90s in there too. And I hear they're very good. So you can listen to the cruise tones.
Is it like folk? Is it like?
Oh well, they
rock?
chooses the '60s. They
Like
do.
acoustic?
Oh, they do Grace Slick. They do the '60s music. They'll do anything of that, and they have a list out that you can check. So you can check out the cruise tones. Some great Chenard wine in a great location. Oh, you can't beat it. It's beautiful. It's relaxed. It's great. Everybody should go out there and spend at least a day going exploring that winery and find out Mr. Chenard and buy a case or two of their good Chardonnays or any of the wines they have there. I'm sure you can join their wine club, and that gets you a good deal. It's 10% off if you're on 1 point, 20% off. They give you lots of good deals. Hey, what's not to like about it? They're well done and they do it right. So
That name
I'm
is
going to
really
get some.
getting me.
I'm going to get to. I'll get the details so that you can know what you're getting, and I'll go to their website and point you out during the show, and we'll just talk about them because I was really impressed with it and I liked them out there. So you know what?
We're gonna
When
go.
you like something and it's a good deal at a good price, you go and get it. You can join Greg and I, and Walter Bradley, for Wine and Cheese, and you'll be with us enjoying good wines, a good time in the East Bay area of Castro Valley on Palomar. So join us, won't you? Chenard rolls off the tongue like water from Yosemite after a good heavy snowfall melts and just rolls down into Hetch Hetchy right into San Francisco.
Kind of like Chardonnay.
Crisp and clean. So,
Chardonnay, Chenard.
yes, Chardonnay Chenard. Oh, very good. I think they have a great Chardonnay. They've won some great awards.
Okay, we'll see.
And we have to go and run and do a show down there. Maybe, if they want us. I don't know. But Wine and Cheese should visit there and make a few statements about, I don't think they have any grapes of wrath there. I think they're pretty friendly grapes,
I hope.
you know? I think Steinbeck would have said grapes of love if he would have been in their winery.
Check us out. Chenard's, we're going there.
Welcome. This is Wine and Cheese. We can whine about cheese or whine about wine. And this is Walter Bradley. This is Greg Fernandez Jr. We're here to talk about Chenard. Well, Greg, Chenard.
A Chardonnay. 2009 Chardonnay. Okay.
Very good.
It sounds good.
Got it from Livermore, I hear.
Chenard's good. Is it bad? Is it ugly?
It's not bad. I've been there. I've met George. He's got a great understanding of great wine. He loves what he's doing. And when you do what you love and love what you do wine right. And George Chenard is one of those who does wine right.
And he's got wine. He's got white. He's got red. And
Chardonnay,
red is,
Cabernet
red is kind of
Sauvignon.
my favorite. So I'm gonna
Never
trust you.
Viognier.
I'm
That's
gonna trust
excellent.
you on the whites.
Oh,
but on
we're
the
gonna
red,
try
I'm gonna
that.
be very critical.
He's going to be presenting two good wines, he said. He's going to put them out there. We're going to buy them, of course.
right.
He's deserving of his work. So, George, we're looking forward to seeing you.
We're coming.
And we're going to promote not just
Chenard's.
you, but that wonderful job as an architect that you've been and done a great job out there. It's been a few years. So we're going to visit you at Chenard Wine. Be
We're
there. About 1983, George Chenard started what the family called his Egyptian. Oh, hi. Reading about Chenard Winery. Welcome. I'm Walter Bradley, and this is Whine and Cheese of Mind, Body, Soul Production. And you know, I visited this winery out in Castro Valley. In fact, if you were to go out there, I recommend 33853 Palomares Road, Castro Valley, 94552. You can call for directions at 582-9900 and the area code 510. You know, George Chenard, his wife Caroline, and their sons started planting this vineyard back when George had this idea to dig in this little inconvenient place, this little canyon there on Palomares. George went out to plant Cabernet Sauvignon grapes in this small inconvenient little valley, and it turned out wonderful. It really did. Right here we have a Chenard red table wine that I am enjoying right now, and unfortunately you're not until you go to Chenard's and pick up a case or a bottle. But why just a bottle? Because you're going to have to go back too much and spend too much gas. It's better by the dozen. So this red table wine, or a Chardonnay, award-winning wines. Check their Rogues Gallery of Awards. Wonderful. You know, in Chenard Winery, George and Caroline, you know, and their sons, Damien and the others, first started planting these grapes 25 years ago with an old garden tractor from a dilapidated old barn with a dirt floor. And being an architect, George reconstructed this old barn and made it an eclectic, beautiful place with a wonderful wine tasting room, where on Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5 p.m. you can go to their wine tasting room, have a little music, quiet, subtle, good music, and with the family go out and enjoy a wonderful evening close by and not too far away, but out of the mainstream, kind of off the grid next door. George has done a wonderful job. And you know, the Ohlone and Miwok Indians used to hunt deer in this region in the valley, and it's just a wonderful history there. So if you want to talk to George Chenard, find out about wines or find out about architecture and just how he came to be, you know, this is a wonderful place to go. And they have events, and if you go to www.chenard.com, that's www.chenard, that's CHOUINARD.com, Chenard.com. You can look up their VIT club, their events, their history, their notebook, and our wines. Hey, that's the important thing, their wines. They just have one wine here that I have bought, but there are many. There's Chardonnays, there's Cabernet. And if you talk to George, he will reveal all their wines and what they do. And he'll even tell you what to pair your wine with food. He is an expert and worth your time to go out and visit him there on Palomares. So I want you to do that. You know, it's a great place. So Chenard Winery is the place to go, close, right off the highway in 580. Just take the Palomares exit and you'll be able to find a great wine. You know, they have concerts in the vineyard, and I'm reading here that complimentary wine tasting and tasting room is open on the weekends, like I said, noon to 5 p.m. And if you check the events page, you can see who's going to be in the concerts in the vineyard. Excellent. And then they have some new releases in wines. Gewürztraminer, Barbera Rosé, Alicante Boucher, Old Vine Zin, and Barbera Red. Go out there. Buy it by the case. Why just buy a bottle, taste it, know what you like, and buy it by the case? You can't go wrong if you go to Chenard. So go out there and try their wines. And if you do what you love doing, like Mr. George Chenard, you find others who love it. And I love it already. It's great Chenard wine. And when you're doing that, it's very fortunate that you get to taste and appreciate something that a vintner produces that is good. There's a lot of people who can try to make wine, but there are people who make the wine. And I look at George as one of those people who loves what he's doing. And it shows with his wine, with the area he's located, with the nice little tasting room and what he did with the barn, it's fabulous. And you gotta like it. So he doesn't work there. He's just doing what he loves, and hope you'll work to get out there and enjoy his wines. And he does many good ones, so you have to get out and check him out. Come by and enjoy their new expanded tasting room, and you can plan weddings there. Hey, there's no better place. It's close, it's local, but it's out of the way, and they've got enough parking, and you might need to shuttle a little bit, but hey, it's worth it when you're getting something, a deal like that. Talk to George about your wedding or about your special event, and they'll be glad to help you make it memorable. They will. With great wine and a great location and great people, you can't go wrong with Chenard Winery. So go out there and give them a call at 582-9900. That's in the 510 area code. Or if you feel like taking the slow way and right, you can do it snail mail at 33853 Palomares Road, Castro Valley, California, 94552. Do it today and be a member of their VIP club and get special events, good prices on great wine at Chenard Winery. Chenard Winery is a great wine, and I know because not only do I talk about it and promote it, I drink it. And this red is a table wine that you want. And if you don't know that, you haven't tasted it yet. So go to Chenard Winery and taste their great reds and their other great vintage out there. Their vintage wines are excellent. Go today. Chenard Winery is just down the road on Palomares. Again, at 33853 Palomares Road, Castro Valley, California, 94552. Or if you don't know well how to get there, call them. George will be glad to get you out there. 510-582-9900. Go to Chenard's Winery. If you don't find it, just use your nose. You'll find the bouquet of great Chardonnay and Cabernet Sauvignon, and you won't get lost then. Have a nose for what grows at Chenard's. Be there. I'm Walter Bradley, and this is Wine and Cheese. Oh, I'm Walter Bradley with Wine and Cheese. The last drop of a great red table wine. And where's it from? Chenard Winery. Chenard Winery has produced a great red table wine which you do not want to waste one drop because they make great wine. A very balanced, good table wine. Chenard Winery. Remember the name, Chenard. Oh, you don't know how to spell that? It's French spelling. So it's easy.
Yeah, I checked out you guys' podcast. I like your guys' theme of the podcast, Wine and Cheese.
I actually
Cool.
like,
Wine,
yeah.
WHIN, and just have this kind of format where you just whine, complain, and just talk. That's a cool format. I like that idea. I think it's really catchy. You drink wine and you talk about stuff. And I think it'll catch on the web just because it's so unique. It's not just some guy talking. There's a theme around it.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to go out to Chenard's, introduce him to some good wine out there,
Yeah.
and travel around California, where the best wine in the world comes from.
Yep. No doubt about
We don't
that.
want to look like
Alcoholics.
yeah, like we live on the bottle.
You know, some of us do.
I used to live on Scotch.
I still love Scotch, man. I love Scotch. Scotch is good stuff.
Scotch.
Which is your one that you like?
You know, I just.
I'll drink one with you if you choose a good one. What about
I've had a
Lafroy?
I've had Glenmorangie before. I've had.
Have you tried Lafroy?
I might. You know what? I like.
It's one that you know if you drink that because it tastes like, somebody says this tastes like a fire that just burned out.
There's one I've had. There's one I had that it had a very oaky taste to it.
That might be it.
It's
green
like a
bottle?
$130 bottle. No, my
This is $50.
it's like a family friend of ours. He let us sample.
Oh,
He's like
oh,
a big
oh.
Scotch connoisseur.
Oh,
He-
I'm like
he knows
that.
like the little tiny ass distilleries in Scotland and.
Yeah, all the space sides. He'll talk about the space sides.
Maybe he knows. He knows a glass. He'll look at a glass and say, "This is perfect for this kind of Scotch." Like he's like deep. For me, I mean, you know, like the best stuff I've tried a green label once
Yeah.
Green label's good.
or a gold label. I've had like Macallan and then.
Now Macallan is a good
balanced mid-range,
Put
you know,
those-
price. And
Yeah, I'm not gonna
stuff.
drink this.
It's-
Well, you know what
You know,
I
I-
found is that this camera will focus in on that since it's closer.
And, yeah.
You know,
And the thing that,
so do you think?
you know, there's Scotch
Try it
like
out.
Royal
Yeah, just try it
Lockney.
out, dude.
There's so many different
It's just,
scotches.
you don't have to
Oh,
keep
there are.
getting up.
And they
Somebody
they
tried
have
it.
a scotch that they make in the San Francisco area now. They just started not
That's
long
not even
ago.
real, man. That's,
And-
that's
and-
not from Scotland. No.
I know, and it's not Scots, so it's not going to be good scotch.
The peat isn't right. You gotta have the peat. and you
Right,
gotta-
it's all got to be perfect, and you got to have a Scotsman that knows what he's doing, who cares about their, you know.
Yeah.
And all the casks that they use, they can use oak casks with wine that had Merlot in it to flavor it a little. They use
With
it
the
in
brandy,
Cabernet
yeah, or that's what-
and whatever they do to just add a little different.
That's where you get the sweetened, like
sweet
if it's
and
a
the-
brandy, or the brandy oaks, or the like.
Yeah,
so
the
like
brandy one's
Bordeaux.
giving it just a little bit. This is Walter Bradley with Wine and Cheese, and we're featuring Chenard Winery today. Chenard, which does weddings and wines, which is wonderful. Chenard Winery. It's out in Palomares in Castro Valley. I'm drinking a good little bit of their red table wine, which is a wonderful, balanced, good wine. And Mr. George Chenard, you've done a good job. And I don't mind telling people that this is a good wine. Have your wedding out there, and you can enjoy some good wines together with all your guests and make a good impression. Well, anyway, let me get to a wine list here. And if you go to www.chenard.com, you're going to find the list that you want. What? A list you want? Yeah. You have to be 21 to join this list, though. But if you're 21 and older, hey, great. If you're younger than 21, you have to sneak it and try it. But don't do that. Mom and Dad wouldn't like that. Don't sneak the wine. Ask when they're at the table and taste it. Because if you do it yourself, you'll end up to the point where they're going to know you drank the wine because you won't stop at one glass. It's too good. Anyway, getting to the truth. Chenard Vineyards Wine List Highlights of 2011. Well, let's go down this list with me. You know, Chardonnay 2009. They got this Chardonnay grapes from Livermore. Processed a great wine, and they were looking for a good Chardonnay, and they found it in Livermore. Where else? You know, they did a good job. It was a small vineyard, and they put a lot of care into producing quality fruit, and the vintage is the product of cold fermentation, so it produced a good Chardonnay. A French name like this, capital CHOUINARD, Chenard Winery. They have a lot of great wines there. For example, their wines listed with their wine list highlights, and if you go to www.chenard.com, you can look up this wine list and look up maybe the wine that suits you. Here we have Chenard Vineyards Wine List Highlights of 2011. They have a Chardonnay, 2009. It's a Livermore Chardonnay, and they were searching for a good source. You know where to go? Do I have to say it again? You know French. I'm sure many of you do. Chenard.com. Well, again, 510-582-9900. Check out their new releases. Go to their great website, and you're going to find wine for the time and even after 9 like I do. So join me, Walter Bradley, and Greg Fernandez Jr. at Wine and Cheese for great wine, red table. That's good. It's no fable, and we'll see you later in Wine and Cheese with Walter Bradley. Good day. Welcome to Wine and
I'm
Cheese.
not gonna lie. We're not going to knowingly lie to anybody. It's just not what we do, and I think it's a good standard for everybody. Let's just not lie anymore. You know, let's just tell the
Just
truth.
keep it real.
Let's just keep it
You
real.
don't have to lie to kick
I mean,
it.
it's-
People lie to
it's
kick
the-
it and they lie to do all this shit. They don't even have to. People
Yeah.
don't have to.
Why? Why?
You know what I mean?
You know, so let's look at that, and the ones that do lie, let's think about why they are lying.
And the liars that are big and on top, it's exposing. You know what I'm saying? Like all these fat cats that supposedly run everything. Once you expose them as the liars and the frauds that they are, they can't really operate.
What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Run.
They're just gonna run
They're
like
gonna run and
roaches.
hide. That's
Once
it.
you turn the lights on, they run.
Of course, because that's what they are. They're cockroaches,
You know?
and their time is coming.
Oh yeah, it's pretty
sad
close.
to say. It's
pretty
really
close.
sad, you know.
I mean, a cockroach can only infest your house for so long, and then Terminex comes in, and that's the
It's
truth.
gonna come quick.
Truth is the ultimate terminator.
Like a thief in the night.
Yeah.
It's gonna come. So, yeah, you might as well be doing good things, doing positive things, and helping people, because time is short. Our life is short. So, why would you want to do bad things? Why
You know, with that said, you can say some people focus on the negative. Some people just get stuck in these ruts and they just want to do bad.
Why?
And then
I
there's-
mean, what?
I mean,
Does that,
it's just
is there some? What do you get out of that? You get some weird pleasure out of it? No, it's fake.
yeah.
It's- you
People
get-
people
it's-
just have their different
fetishes and things
different
like
different likes and
that. All
whatnot.
right, whatever. You know, but you have to live with those choices. So be
Right.
careful of the choices.
But with that said, we also have to realize that we live in a world full of those people that we're talking about.
I'm one of those people. I've made many bad choices, but I've learned from them. But I've never ever set out to hurt people.
And that's key.
I mean, that's just
self-destruction. See, we could do things to
You could do
ourselves.
whatever
Like
you-
I've done some bad things to myself in my life. I'm smoking the cigarette. You know what I mean? But I'm not
Dude.
actively going out and trying to say, "Hey, Greg, you have to smoke this, or I'm gonna kick your ass," or
'Cause I
anything
won't.
crazy like that, or threaten people with violence like the government does.
Good.
So,
Thank you.
you
Thank you
know.
for that.
We
And,
live
and, our,
in a
and our
world
government
where-
can actually learn something from that.
Hopefully
You
they
know?
could.
I mean,
Hopefully
that's
they
how
could.
easy it is. Just
Right.
saying, look, I'm not going
Well,
to
we didn't
invade on your space.
Yeah, we didn't do that with Libya. We didn't do
We
that
do that
with
with
Syria.
anybody. Do we do that with anyone? Can you think of anyone we've done that with? Not even our own people we haven't done that with. So,
So it's
you
time
know,
to change it.
well, we do it with everybody, and that is changing it because we're nice to everybody, and we let other people do whatever they want to do because we believe in free will. We believe in constitutional rights. We believe in freedom of speech.
Yep,
Whatever
the
that
state is
speech
not
is.
the state is not the dictator of what I do. I have the choice to do what I wish with my life, and the state has no right to tell me that I cannot smoke this, drink that, or do anything else to my temple.
Right, but they tell you that you can't grow that. He can't grow that right out here in his own yard, but he can go and buy their chemical-laced cigarettes
Yep.
for a huge tax.
Yep, and
That's
is
all
that
these.
is that,
That's
is
all
that
this
freedom?
is. This is taxation.
Is that freedom?
This is
that
another
is that
tax.
freedom?
It's like Obamacare.
Oh yeah, but I mean that predates it,
Is
and that
that freedom?
led to Obamacare.
They would call that freedom if you were able to grow your own, like our founders did. I would call that freedom.
How about
That's freedom
How about the
for
right to
tobacco.
grow any plant?
How about the right to do whatever you want on your own property?
Right.
If
I mean,
you hurt
what-
other people, you're gonna be in some serious shit, some
Oh,
serious
yeah, of
trouble.
course, yes.
But as long as you do your own thing and don't hurt anybody else,
Infringing upon others' rights is definitely a no-no. As long
have
as
to
you're
defend
growing
other
plants,
people. Have to defend the weak.
as long as you're growing
have to
plants
defend
that are not affecting other people's lives, I guess you can say, it's their choice. They want to smoke them and do things to their own temple, but
isn't it
that's
strange
their
that
choice,
when,
and it goes back to the
when
free will.
when people had more morals, they needed less laws. We didn't need all of these laws to force us to do these things because we had something called morals.
True.
Doctors
Very true.
wouldn't turn their back on people because they weren't covered. They would help them because that's what a doctor does. A doctor doesn't give you pills.
Not because the
until you
state
go
mandated
home
them, right?
And everything's okay.
Yeah, not because the state mandated them, because they did it out of their own free will.
Exactly.
Everyone
That's
had
what
the
real
right to
doctors
voluntary.
were. But they've made
voluntariness.
it so difficult for good people to become doctors. And that's how our system works. That's how Congress works. That's how our government works.
Well,
That's how our local government works, our state government, and that's wrong.
That's
and,
true.
and we're definitely changing that. We're definitely going to change that because we're looking at new people to run for office. And you never know who it might be
Yeah, maybe you.
that might be called.
You out there.
But us, we need to run. Good people need to run. Real people need to run. Real people need to
Well, that's where
start
it
doing
starts. It starts in
something.
the neighborhood, your own neighborhood. You have to start at home. You can save the world, but first it starts at home. Once you save home, then you can save the world. Once home is saved, you save the world after that.
That's right.
It just kind of that creates that synergy, that relationship where it's like you're doing good at home. That resonates itself throughout the world, throughout the universe, throughout the whole plane of existence that we know
It does.
at this time.
Join us next time on Wine and Cheese, and we may even tell you which is better, or we may say they're all good. sister has AB negative, RH negative, and AB negative factor. And I've looked up the bloodlines, and that has a particularly notorious line. They tie that to the Nephilim. And I went, what? I never saw that till recently. So we have to look that up.
Okay.
I have to, because my sister being in the order of the Nephilim, that's scary. Could be her blood is Nephilimic. And I wouldn't imagine her to be a Nephilim. She's short. She's quite very intelligent though. She's all right. She's a pharmacist. She's a teacher and a sociologist, psychologist.
Yeah, that's
4
great.
different things, and she's good at all of that.
Yeah. Well, that would mean God's gonna judge the Nephilim just like us. So.
Yep.
Here we go.
They're already judged. They're gone. Hello, this is Walter Bradley, and of course you recognize my boss, the great conquistador Greg Fernandez Jr. And we're all about the truth. Excuse me for that. It's kind of like Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson. And here's Greg. But anyway, getting back to the truth now. I've discovered, he hadn't discovered it yet. In fact, he hadn't discovered the discovery I've discovered before at 2 other places, which is the California Wine Association, Chenard's, and now Westover Winery. See, I'm doing all the footwork, and I get to have all the fun of checking out these places, and I get to tell Greg how great it was.
And I get to be
Greg
tortured by
is
hearing about
great!
these great stories.
And not only
and
did
not being there.
he's so great, I got a hand-signed bottle of port out of the cask.
Ridiculous.
Tell me what he missed
Where's
out.
mine? Where's my bottle? I get nothing.
Well, it ain't this bottle, that's for sure. But anyway, at Westover, they were great. Look them up on the internet. Westover, just like you hear it.
And that's where by
Wstover. It's right next to Chenard's,
Wow.
right down Palomares.
Oh,
You
I'm
go to
saying-
Chenard's,
yeah.
it's the next winery down the street.
Sounds like we could
Barely
do a
100
little
yards away.
wine hopping or something. Go from one winery to the next.
Hey, we're wine walking when they're that close. You don't have to hop anywhere. So, Westover, I joined their cow club, and I'm part of the herd. And they send me a couple of wines, and you have to do it for 3 quarters, and then you can cancel. But you get the opportunity of getting 2 wines that they will send out to you. You can call, kind of work it out. And it's about $40, they say. So, plus, hey, they do parties. They have gatherings. They're willing to do weddings, business. Give them a call at Westover Wineries. Look them up on the internet, and you're going to find a great winery in a great location that's far away but nearby. Isn't that the best?
This is personally signed. They personally signed this. Is that right?
Yes, they have personally signed my bottle of port. Here's your bottle. And now
This is the kind of cool bottle too because
it's
it has a
excellent,
little, like,
and it's
extra,
a nice port. They've done
what
a
is-
very good
What is
job.
with the extra?
Well, you know,
Wait here.
it's well, one of the things about that is
It looks
solid,
nice.
and it looks nice. It's
It's not
aesthetically
going to tip
pleasing,
over.
and it's a very solid. You bump it,
Ah, now we're talking. That's probably the reason.
probably would break if I did it free fall, but I'm not going to do that.
Good.
But if you're looking for port, this Westover Winery does a variety of about 30 different ports.
Castro Valley.
Yes.
Castro Valley, California. Wow.
They do a variety. Did you hear me? Tawnies, whatever you're
If
looking
you live
for.
in Castro Valley and
And
you
you don't
haven't
know-
gone here,
Or
join me because I
Chenard's.
haven't either.
See, he hasn't gone and he's wanting to talk. There's Chenard's and there's Westover.
This is
Two
crazy.
beautiful
So wait,
wineries
So
and beautiful
I've been
Palomares.
going to like Napa. I've been going to all these different places.
And Livermore
and it's right in
is
my backyard.
Concannon. Hello, Concannon. We're going to be visiting
Alright,
you.
That's it. You know
Hey,
what? We're gonna.
He
have to visit
is
all
guilty.
of these.
I'm the one that's doing all the visiting and
He's
giving
doing
all
all
the
the
play.
footwork.
And I'm telling him, hey, come. You know, I actually set him up to go to Chenard's, and I told Mr. Chenard he'll be there. Mr. Chenard, what was your excuse? I forgot.
My excuse?
He forgot the excuse. That shows you how important that one was. No, actually, he had to spend time with his family.
Oh.
That's a good excuse.
Okay.
So
I
understand,
wouldn't
just
call
like
that
you,
an excuse. I would call that a reason.
a good reason.
Okay.
A good reason.
Okay.
And so he's going to bring the family out. Maybe he'll bring his wife, if she's willing, to go out to Chenard's. I don't know.
I don't know. if
But
she
we're
would-
going to go and do it. Well, she ought to be part of a wine and cheese at least once, especially if you're
She
going to.
would not want to be on camera.
She's not a camera girl.
She's not a
Oh,
camera
never mind.
girl, no.
Cancel that, Maria. My mistake. Don't do that. If your wife says she doesn't like the camera, don't let people with cameras get near.
Yeah, she doesn't.
You got to block the shot and give her a gracious exit from all of that.
I like the camera.
And see, that makes up for her not liking
Okay.
it. So you can take care of that and put the shine
Maybe,
for that.
maybe we'll put her behind the camera.
Hey, you know what, Maria? You do that. Get behind the camera, and you can be the director for his part of Heart Talk. I got
Make
Jason
me look
Conte.
good.
Yeah. Well, he's already looking good with you being there. Hey, that's one thing that's for certain.
Standing
You're a
next,
great lady.
next to her, I don't look that
You know
good.
what? Well, yeah, she's a. You know, I knew her when she was just a young
A young
girl.
type.
And I trained her in what I trained you for. Working, I don't know how well I trained her. There was some little error that should have been probably overlooked, and I thought, no, they wanted to, you know, probably be better if they I probably disagreed with that. She's a good worker, and it's been proven with their jobs and subsequent employment. And Maria, I really liked working with you, and you did an excellent job. And I was thankful that you were there and gotten to know you, your family, and Greg and his family. And I couldn't see such a beautiful union as that coming. I had prayed for you in that at that time with you and talked with you and prayed for you about your future husband. And then you ended up with this? And you ended up with this. No, he's a great guy. I know how intent you were on him when you told me that you snuck into his room and, oh, never mind. On the next note, we're talking about Westover Winery.
That's right.
And, you know,
Castro Alley.
and this is an
Castro Alley.
award-winning
Whoa,
one.
whoa. 19.7%. Are you kidding me?
This is a dessert wine.
What does that mean?
Yes.
What's it?
That means you sip it in the small cordial type cup.
That's not going to work for me.
But it is very good.
What
and
else do they
you'd
have?
probably drink it in one of those.
Do they have any good wines that I
Oh,
know
yeah,
of?
Cabernets.
They have
Syrah.
Cabernet? They have Syrah?
That's Syrah.
They have Syrah.
Two
Okay.
different Syrahs.
Now,
Yes.
the thing that I've never liked, okay, why is it, one is spelled S-I-R.
Except they have more Cabernets. I think they have 4 Cabernets. Yes!
I'll take the Cabernet. So those are
I
really
love
mine.
it.
I like the dry, bitter wines.
I'm
Don't
the
like
same way. I'm like that with beer, too. I like Arrogant Bastard and Double Arrogant Bastard. They make me so happy. Happy. Happy.
What a name. I mean,
Well, Arrogant Bastard is...
I like
I can just
Budweiser,
imagine
Coors.
this... Budweiser?
no.
Who wants soda water?
No, just the name. I like the name Budweiser, the name Coors. Then they get an
Well, that's the names of the
arrogant
people.
bastard. I mean, come on.
Well, you have to have a reason to be arrogant. Once you sip that, you understand why they're arrogant. They made it right. Now, I don't agree in the
It's like they're
typical
bragging
form of
a
arrogance.
little bit.
Well, you know, every bastard has to be arrogant to make up for being a bastard, I guess. I don't know. I'm a bastard child, and I understand why they want to be arrogant, because they got to make up for the fact that they don't know who their dad is, and they say, "Who's your daddy?"
That's a horrible term. I don't know who came up with that term, bastard.
Well,
whoever
we
you
can
are,
look it up.
you're a bastard.
No.
You're the bastard.
Well, then etymologically speaking.
Well,
it's-
because that is just a horrible name. Why would
How did
you
we
even
get into
name
this?
that?
Golly. Oh, I was talking about. It's my fault
That's your
again.
fault. We always get off topic. That's wine and cheese, though. Wine
See,
and
we
cheese
do
is
this
always-
all the time. But you want to know something interesting? I'm going to tell you the story of how we drove up into Westover. You know, I like family, and I like driving up to a place, and you know, when people make you feel like family and they've just met you,
Yeah.
that's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was driving up to there, and then I didn't know it was the owner. I thought it was one of the workmen. He's out there doing very nice blonde-haired gentleman, older blonde, yes, yeah. And I was driving up, just looking around where to park, and he just went, "Come here."
But how did
And,
how did you
I
know?
opened the window. And he said, "Park right there." I'm like, thank you.
But how did you know where this place was? I mean,
Well,
What-
I
why did
passed
you
by
go?
it before,
Okay.
and I knew it was there, but I never stopped. And I knew Chenards were there, and I always passed them, and I go, "I've got to go there." And this was been nearly 10 years.
yeah.
And I said, "I've got
I
to
don't.
go there."
I
went
don't.
there.
I don't want to be there 10 years from now. I want to be there a couple weeks from now.
Then I tell you what, we got to get back early from visiting our neighbors up north, who are looking out for our best interests based on the banker's view of things. What were we talking about? No. We're not going to tell you. It's positively private. Shh. Now, when we get to Monterey and go to Bohemian Grove, oh, you didn't hear that, and keep it a secret. do deal with issues here, but we also deal with wonderful ports. And a port in a storm is always good, especially if it's your favorite girlfriend. And the best port right now that's won awards is what? Let's let Greg tell us about it. And this is from Westover
An
Winery.
award-winning chocolate.
Where? In
port.
Palomares. Go down there past Chenard's. Go to Westover and Chenard's. Buy a case from each.
Zinfandel Port. Okay.
And what's the award they won? Oh, that's it.
For the best chocolate port.
Chocolate port, ladies.
So this is a sweet
A
wine.
wonderful chocolate port.
Now you might
That's a
think,
combination. You're bringing two food groups in for the women. Chocolate and port wine.
you know, you might think that
She's
that,
laughing.
that women only like sweet wine.
No, they don't. They
In my
like
experience,
Cabernet.
they don't like sweet
Well,
wine.
you know what? Once they grow up, for you that like sweet wines, you're grown up, and everybody
That's where
needs
they
those
start,
sweetness.
maybe?
But they
You
start.
think they start
but
on the
I've
sweeter
always
stuff?
started when I was young. I started with Burgundy when I was not.
Well, you know,
Mr. Coleman, I drank your wine. I admit it. With Rusty and me, we broke in there, and I drank a small cup of your Burgundy.
Now you
You
have
probably thought your wife did it, but it was Rusty and I and Carla.
oh, and Carla. Oh, yeah.
Carla Coleman, I'm so sorry. You were so beautiful and a
Blame
wonderful
her
girl. No, she was a wonderful girl. I loved her very dearly. I had a crush on her at a 6-year-old age. I thought she was the prettiest girl in the world, and I bet you still are. You were so quiet
No, I'll bet.
and so
I'll bet
peaceful.
you, think
You and
your-
Rusty are wonderful.
I'll bet you think your wife is the prettiest.
Oh, I know my wife's the prettiest. Goodness, that goes without saying. Regina, but that's not to say that Maria is not equally beautiful.
I think every man should think their woman is the most beautiful woman in the world.
Not think, no. Forget that. Sorry, Maria, he thinks. I just corrected him. Now he knows.
Well, because I'm so arrogant that that everything that I think is what I think I know.
See? You got a husband that thinks he knows,
He
and
knows it
now
all.
he's convinced.
And now he's convinced he knows nothing.
But he does know that you're the most beautiful woman in the world,
I do.
and he's sure of it. And I would vote for him unless my wife would kill me, so I
She
can't
would.
vote for him. But I can agree you are equally beautiful, and
That's
that
why
wins the
I
war.
said, yeah, the man's wife is the most beautiful woman.
That's
to-
right.
to the man.
And that's
That's why
true.
I married her.
That's right. There's only one woman for each man. Those who love their wives. For those that play around, I feel sorry for you that you can never be satisfied because you lose all that beauty that you have in your wife.
He's right.
But anyway, stay faithful, and if you've been unfaithful, turn back to your
Turn
wife
back.
and go.
It's never
Quit
too late.
pouring your best out to the streets. Give it to your wife. She'll give it back to you if you have a good wife. If you have one that disrespects you and hurts you, I'm sorry. Stick by her anyway. Because it is better to give love to those that hurt you than to throw it out to everybody who don't care at all. You know, I've had hurtful people in my life, and I've learned it's better to love them and respect them than to disrespect them and get angry and try to get revenge. Because I've learned two things, that revenge doesn't make them look bad, it makes you bad. It doesn't make you look bad, it makes you bad. And then you step lower than they have if they have hurt you. So if you want to become less of a person, you can get revenge. And as they say, revenge is best served cold because there's no warmth in you to make it any better than what it is. It's dead cold. So, anyway, how did we get into this serious subject? Talking about our good wives will do that to make us think about these things. But, you know, Westover Winery, we've got to go over there and do wine and cheese there and do a thing. And I think they're open. They'll let you go into
I hope so.
the cask room. They took me right in there. It was just open right off the tasting room.
Yeah, but will they let our cameras go in there? That's
Well,
the question.
you know what? We will ask respectfully, and if they don't, we'll talk about it. Because a winery is a place you have to respect their secrets and the way they do
Of course,
things.
of course. I
And-
hope they'll show us some. I hope they'll let us film some stuff. Something.
Yeah, and if we can film the back, this just to get the view of the property, the entrance, they'll want that put on the internet so everybody knows where to get in
Oh,
there.
we could start with that.
Absolutely. And we'd want to meet the owners of the Westover Winery, and we would want to get a little perspective of how you came to develop such wonderful ports. And you gave me that sample. Oh, if you like ports, people, if you want ports, if you want a variety, if you want a taste, you can join the club, and then it's, hey, you can bring 2 friends in. Woohoo! It's better, and they'll send you a couple of wines, about $40, she said. Hey, it's worth it. I joined. You should join too. and they take good care of you. They are the most personable people. They reach out. They're very kind. Of course, it's business. They want to sell wine and port, but they do it in a good way. And they make you feel at home, just like at Chenard's. You know, those are two wineries that have that home feel that you go there and you're thankful. At Chenard's, they have this wonderful little area where you sit under the vines, under an arbor, and you go, wow.
This is torture for me.
And it's right next to a stream in a little valley, right next to the Chardonnay vines. And then I'd want to look at the Cabernet Sauvignon vines that he's got put uphill. But, you know, Greg, I love investigating these things for you.
When are we going?
When are we going then?
When are we going?
When are we going? When are we going? When are you going?
When are you going?
You should be going this weekend. It's coming up. This is what, the 10th of July right now? And this is the perfect time to go down Palomares and even go down to Sonol. You can stop at the winery there and take a trip with the wife and kids. If you can keep the kids quiet to go on a wine tasting, but at Chenard's they can kind of play a little bit. But at Westover, it's an expansive little area, and as long as you keep your children respectful, they've got lots of little knickknacks and things for you to buy. They have olive oil at Chenard's.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And cheese. For wine and cheese. And they've got cheese over at Westover too.
Is that right?
Do you know these people think when they put the wine together, they go, what goes with that? Cheese.
Do they have a place where we can buy a couple bottles and just hang out and sit there?
Yes.
Cool.
Westover and at Chenard's.
Okay. Cool.
And we can do a wine and cheese, and we're going to invite you to do that. And maybe if you
do a
go
wine and
to
cheese
either
road
one
trip.
and a wine and cheese road trip, and maybe you'll get maybe you'll get a hand-signed port that has not been put on the market yet, like I got.
They wrote a book on your bottle.
Because
What did you ask
you
them
know,
to write?
I didn't ask them anything. They offered, but they knew. I told them I was part of production that I was coming up and doing an investigation for.
Okay.
And when they hear that, they want to say, "Hey, this will be something." And I did. Now you don't get this every time you go there. No, this was a promo because I'm promoting them kind of. And so, no, not everybody will get it, I think. I'm not going to say they do that. I did get one. It was a very special one-time gesture, and it was very nice. And I hope you'll give Greg one. He's my boss. I don't want him to take my bottle.
I like more dry.
But he likes a dry port. So if you could, for Mr. Westover, if you could recommend a port, well, try a port. And say you might find a good port there.
I'll take a cap.
Any port in the storm. And this
Is there
Zinfandel port is good.
Do they have a dry, bitter port?
Hey, Mr. Westover, come up with a dry bitter port and he'll buy it. He'll buy a case of it, right?
I'll just buy your cab now.
Buy a case of it, right?
A case?
A case?
Well, I don't
You
know.
can put it on the card.
I don't have any cards anymore.
Oh, we got rid of the cards. We'd have to be cash.
Yeah.
They like cash
Or
too.
cash only.
I'll donate a little money to them so we can buy a case, and I can buy a case.
A case? You know how much a
Well,
case
you're gonna
is
buy
gonna
it
cost?
later. We get a 20% discount.
You can get a case of Trader Joe's $2 Chuck.
We're talking about wine, though.
Real wine? Not
Yeah, a
water.
winery, not $2 Chuck, the cast-off stuff. This is fresh from the vintner, the good stuff.
You're right.
He didn't mean to offend you. $2 Chuck is up. No, that's not
Up Chuck
$2 Chuck. No, anyway, I mean it is. You know, if you have to
We're
drink some cheap
searching
wine, as is a
people-
cheap table
look.
wine, it is good.
Look at our
compared to
look
this-
at our country right now. We need a good local cheap wine.
Yeah,
We're looking for it.
yeah, and we need a Congress and then a $2 Chuck Congress. You know what? We need some real wine in Congress that know how to do it right.
That's right. So that's why
Unfortunately, we're not
going
going to get it with the machine in place.
No, maybe we'll get it right here.
Maybe if I send Dianne Feinstein, and I like you, Dianne. I remember when you were the mayor. I don't agree
like
with all your
Dianne
positions. Yeah, as a person, she's a nice person. I don't agree with all her views or stances in life, no. And you can still agree to be kind and wonderful and appreciate some person's good qualities. And she was a good mayor.
What's the good qualities?
Well, one, she knows how to behave in a public office where some don't. She also has the unique quality how to build consensus. Now, I don't agree with her views on things that build consensus for the negatives, but that's a unique quality that we appreciate in people. And she's one of those people. And her husband is an investor at Bloom, and they've done some good things. and we can't knock and put negatives on everybody.
No,
and I don't.
I just don't see any good things they've
Well,
done.
oh, come on! You gotta look deeply,
I
and you
am.
gotta look
I'm
more
looking
than just
more deeply.
surface media style. You gotta look beyond the fact because she's a good grandmother. She's a good
How do we
person.
know? I
Now
don't know.
she. Well, the thing about it is, people on the whole. Now we're all sinners and we're all evil by nature. She is too. No offense, but that's just what the word says. And since I am overruled by somebody higher
How
than
did
I
how
have
did
to tell the
she
truth.
vote for the Patriot Act? How did she vote for?
I'm
the,
sure that, unfortunately, as most did, voted for it.
Good enough for me.
Well, and that doesn't mean, that doesn't, and I'm a constitutionist because I'm sworn to uphold it, and that means by rights, you're going to have to fight us, the people that are true constitutionists. I'm sworn to uphold it by the Creator's vow. That's a vow to Him, not to you.
Who do you know that didn't vote for the Patriot Act?
Isn't it Ron Paul?
That's right.
How did I know that? See, the one thing is, I know you in Congress have other forces at work that direct you other directions and paths. Some of you know of it, some of you are blind to it, some of you kind of aware but don't know. It's that feeling you feel, you know something's happening, but you can't put your finger on it. There's a lot of people in Congress that are in that boat. They're kept in the dark like mushrooms and fed a bunch of crap. And there's some of you that know what you're doing. And I'm not going to mention the names because I'm not going to out the people that I know that know. Like, a lot of people know the Kennedy thing and know it so well they could point the fingers in the right directions. Many of us. Many! So you're going to kill the world? Eventually you will. Knock off, well, actually the Father will knock off a lot of them. And then you'll take up the rest and knock off them. And then you'll get it down to where you want. And then it's all going to be taken away from you. But anyway.
And until then,
we're going to have to suffer.
Wine,
We're going to have to
eat
suffer
cheese.
with you and share the wine with you. See,
I'm not
you
sharing
know what?
wine with them.
I would share it with
I'm not sharing
Feinstein,
with
President
Feinstein. I'm
Obama,
not sharing
and
with
any
anything.
congressman. We even would have shared it with the Kennedy or any of them.
I would say to them, back away from me, Satan. Get away from me, Satan.
Hey, wait a minute. That's a little
That's all I
overkill.
would say.
Because in every human is the image of the Most High. Dianne Feinstein would recognize that. Dick Bloom would recognize that because
Yeah, well, Judah, maybe,
Dianne Feinstein would
Judah
know
had
because
that, but he also had Satan.
Yes,
with him,
yes.
So back
Judah,
away, Satan.
yeah, and the thing is, the
Nothing
Jewishness
against
in
those
me
people.
and all this other stuff, I understand who he is. Diane may understand, and based on their lineage, they're given the oracles from the Most High. So
Yeah,
hey,
I don't know.
they
I
are
don't know about
responsible, but because they turned away from
We
it,
are responsible.
the
Because
Father said, "We go to
the
make them
government. The government
the
of this
Gentile.
country is
the
us.
goyim." Oh no,
We are responsible. We are the ones
responsible for.
for everything that happens in this country. Yet they've taken that power from us.
Well,
They've made
yes
it that
and
they
no.
are responsible.
Because we're still able to do this. They haven't totally taken everything yet. This is coming. They have the train cars, they have the camps set up. Eventually we will be herded off and will be color-coded, I think, and marked for whatever we're going to be done. There's a point that will happen, that they'll march everybody and put them in categories and do it. Whether that's truly set up now or not, I haven't had any vetting on that. I've only heard people say it. So is that really true? I don't know. I've heard a lot of talk about color codes assigning people to different camps and kill this one, reprogram this one, send this to camp, and remove them.
Here's
Put
a
them in
color
work
code.
camp.
Here's a color code right here. This is what I did. I had to go and get my driver's license. I couldn't get my driver's license unless I did a thumb scan.
Okay, let's see this.
So, where is my thumb scan here? Let me show you.
I just saw right
There
here.
it is. This is my thumb scan. In the future, this is what you are going to use to buy food, to buy gas, to buy everything, to do
And
anything.
this is now
is coming.
they're bringing the national ID card through the state licensing system. They're not telling you that. They talked about it, but they're doing it this way.
The whole fact that I have a driver's license, that I'm now licensed to drive, what do I need a license for? I don't need a license. I don't need your damn license. And for many years, we didn't have a license. And when they first started making license, it was for mostly truck drivers. It was not for the common person, but that's how they do it. They wean it in. They start with a little bit. You give them a inch and they take a mile. It's the same thing. these guys will take. They will take and take and take until we fight back. And many people have been fighting back, and we need more people to fight back too.
Wow, this is interesting.
It is. It's
dual
it's
picture.
it's a full scan.
And the thing is, a dual picture here.
Well,
That's
you know,
interesting.
the other thing is that
And this, what's
I
this? What's that?
Class C or the
No, the image behind
No,
that.
I don't know. I have no
I'm trying to
idea.
make that out. Like a mountain with.
Well, the thing that really pissed me off is the donor thing, because I wanted to get that taken off, and they still added it to it. I don't want to be a donor. Now I'm gonna have
And the
to
bear,
go
two
through
bear.
a whole bunch of crap just to change my donor status, so you guys don't kill me and take my organs. It's ridiculous. But
Very
back to wine and
interesting.
cheese.
Yes, we're whining about the government,
Yeah.
which we can't do anything about, but we can tell the truth
Yeah. Well, yeah.
and take our stand.
So this
whatever it
is this is our new mark of the beast, and I even asked the lady there. I said, "This is straight out of the Bible."
What'd she say?
She just laughed, and she was like, "I can't even tell you my own view on it."
I know, because she is a
I'm
state
telling you,
lady.
the more that you work under evil, the more you are a slave.
You
to
are
it.
more.
You are
Well,
the
no,
bigger
that's the
slave.
more they gag you, because they don't want you to tell
That's
the truth.
what you do to your slaves.
And
You
what-
gag them,
And you tell them, you
and
can
they
say
can't
this.
do anything back.
That's true.
But I'm not their slaves. I'm gonna say what I want to say,
I'm going to say the truth,
and I'm gonna do what I want to do.
and I am going to say it in the respect of the Father, and where respect is due, giving unto the Father, Elohim, that which is Elohim's, and unto the Father, and that unto the government, which is the government's. And when they try to take what's Elohim's, I will have to deny them. And if anybody tells me I can't follow and do what is right to the state, I must do that also, as long as it does not conflict with the Father. The minute you conflict there, Mr. Government, Mr. Anybody, you fail, even if you kill me, because I don't even have to listen to you then. Sounds pretty rough, doesn't it? Well, that's the way it is, because the Father rules over you just like, let's just say the sun rules over the clouds and the earth. You take away the sun, this life goes away. You take away the sun in the spirit, you're dead. They rule you anyway, so I don't have to respect or honor anybody that tells me to disrespect and dishonor my sovereign and king. It may sound harsh, and you may want to kill me if you're one of those at the top says, that's sedition against the government. No, he set up the government, not you.
That's right. You're right. And with that said, we're gonna end this portion of wine and cheese.
Hey, we're supposed to make this an upbeat thing. I want it more upbeat. Next time we'll have it a little more upbeat. Wine and Cheese will be whining about more fun stuff, because this is the one program that I like to kind of cut loose and have a little fun. We won't be as serious in the future. If we do put some serious stuff on there, it'll be a special interjection, because it's so important to get it out there. But we'll mix it with some good cheese and wine then, and tell you where to get it. And go to Westover Winery and Vintner on Palomares, just past Chenard's. Don't follow the mark that you'll find on Foursquare, because they get it to where the signal is best, and that's out by the highway. It's a long way down the road. So just go and look on the right. You have to look carefully. It's going to be on the right-hand side going down Palomares. That is Chenard's Winery, and they're right next door within 100 yards of the Westover Winery. Both category A+.
And we're
You
gonna go
gotta
see
go,
both of them.
and we're actually going to drag him out there and actually get him to go do a wine and cheese on site. And Mr. Westover, please, he wants a hand-signed bottle. I said that he
red.
might be able to get one if you
I
can
want
help
your
me out.
darkest, bitterest, driest red.
There you go. This is Walter Bradley, and this is...
Greg Fernandez Jr.
And this is Wine and Cheese. Remember Westover and Chenard's, and we'll see you back again here on Wine and Cheese, where we can wine with the best, and the rest we eat the cheese. Take care. We'll see you back. Thanks. Join us again.